Avengers, assemble. Thank you so much for watching and welcome back to the channel. If you're enjoying the videos we produce, please consider sharing this channel, sharing this video, liking this video, and subscribing, as it all helps immensely with YouTube's analytics and algorithms. And if you're in a position to support the channel, you can assemble with us on our Patreon, where we have tiers starting as low as $1 a month. I want to give a special shout out to my founders and Avengers. Thank all of you so much. Jesse Johnson, Liz Edits, One Shot One Kill, Spidey, David Dunn. Thank all of you, to all of my patrons, so much for supporting the development of this channel. It is the 15th of December, 2023. This is the last day of the work week in Hollywood. It is the last day of the work week for a number of game studios. Everyone is going home for the holidays. And as you can see, I actually put in my webcam again, at least for this stream, just for a little bit, just because I do have something very special I want to share, just because it was a really amazing surprise. So I do want to share it, and so I got my camera down here as a kind of like it's like your Ant-Man. Hi. So it is, as I said, we're going into vacation time, so I'm very excited. I'm excited to travel a little bit. I'm excited to take a break and to recharge and relax a bit. That means that after today, and that's why I wanted to get started as early as possible, have kind of a big last scheduled live stream. But after today, we are on vacation until after the new year. Any streams that happen will be impromptu. Obviously, I'll always try to give a few minutes heads up on the Discord, but there's no like scheduled streams going forward until after the new year, after I get back, relatively speaking. We'll be back and forth into town and into state and in country, frankly, but we'll be hitting California, we'll be hitting New York, and we'll be hitting New Zealand. And hey, if I spot any of you in those locations, by all means, I'm always excited and thrilled by it. No business, no book writing, no book editing, no nothing. Just an actual vacation for the holidays. Just a little bit of a break, a little bit of traveling, and then home time. So there will be no scheduled live streams, again, just to reiterate, until after the new year. But there will be scheduled videos Monday through Friday. So the content is all stuff that I've been wanting to talk about. It's all stuff that I had planned to talk about and discuss, and they're all scheduled right all the way through our vacation, so that for the entire duration of us being gone, Monday through Friday, you will have a brand new video every morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central Time, a new video will be uploaded. And again, as always, I would appreciate it by all means if you check out our uploads, watch them, like them, share them, and leave a comment, even if it's just a cookie, even if it's just a like button. Leave a comment. I do appreciate it while we're on vacation. And again, keeping the channel analytics moving, and that's why I knew when we scheduled a vacation, I was like, okay, well, I just got the channel back. I just got it started working again. I need to just get a bunch of stuff recorded and get it scheduled Monday through Friday, so we're all covered. Mike says, what's up? Mike is the first one here today. Welcome aboard, Mike. Thank you so much for joining. I got a little camera set up. Before we get to a bunch of the topics, I wanted to share this because I was super thrilled by it. We did a live stream last week or something, where I was talking about board games and Marvel board games, and I had a lot of questions about Marvel board games. And lo and behold, our amazing patron member, David Dunn, he had messaged me through the Discord. He had said he had something he wanted to send me. I was like, okay, that's cool. And I had no idea what it was, had no idea what David was going to send. And I wanted to show it off because I always want to give thanks. And it is Marvel United. I am super excited. Haven't played it yet. It just came in the post, and it is Marvel United. This was one of the board games we were talking about in the live stream, where I kind of asked, like, hey, if you have any suggestions on Marvel tabletop games, I'd love to have them. And when David said he was sending me something, I did not think it was going to be anything like this. This is amazing. Again, patron David, thank you so much. That was really, really incredibly kind of you. That it was awesome. I can't wait to play it over vacation. we're having a little get together tomorrow, and I'm going to sit back, read the instructions, try to figure out how to play it. I'm terrible with instructions. I really am. I'm not good with instructions. So anyway, that's what for the impromptu webcam setup. That's why usually I have better lighting. I did not have better lighting today because I wasn't planning on it, and then this came in the mail, and I was like, well, I want to, if I feel like I want to acknowledge that. That was incredibly sweet and thoughtful. So again, thank you, David, so much. That was an absolute blessing, as a patron, and then that was a great gift. Thank you, like legitimately, thank you. Mike says, I'm super happy that my vacation has officially started. Right on. Again, I'm right there with you. This is my daughter, my wife, and so like pretty much that's because my vacation starts at the same time. The thing about the way I work, obviously my books, I get to make my own schedule in terms of my writing. And my first book has been published. My second book is on the way to, it's done. It's on the way to being published. It's edited. It's finished. We're just ironing out some schedules and final, marketing pushes. And then my consultations, like everything is wrapped up. So my work email, I've notified everybody, like that's it. Like I won't be consulting. I won't be doing anything until after the new year. I'm done. So all of it, I'm very excited, very, very excited to start a vacation. Dan the Man says, Sanders finally cammed up. That's a weird way of phrasing it, Dan. That feels kind of icky. That something about that sounds only fansy. But no. So yeah, I got this Marvel United. I'm really, really excited to play it. It has a ton of expansions because I've already been researching it because I was trying to figure out like what's a good one to get, and of course, lo and behold, David surprised me with Marvel United, and now I'm like, holy crap, there's so much to this. I'm really excited to play it. If any of you have played any of these games, I'd love to know your thoughts on them. Again, it's another thing where in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I would like to talk about these Marvel tabletop games. Maybe it'll get sort of a video, just like Midnight Suns, but my schedule, like to get all this stuff done, was already so full. So like I still have a couple of video ideas kind of percolating. Mike says, nice dude. Hope you all have a great time on your family vacay. Thank you very much. I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday as well. Like I said, any live streaming will be very impromptu if we do it, but there we go. Dan the Man says, is your mind ever not dirty? You're a sick man. Honestly, no. Even my wife is often incredibly entertained by just how dirty I can turn anything. It's a gift. I mean, like legitimately, it's a gift. So the headline, well, sort of. I mean, I guess to me this is kind of a headline. This is a big deal, I feel like. So Naughty Dog has spent 5 years, countless resources, millions of dollars on a standalone Last of Us online multiplayer live service game. And they announced last night they canceled it, shelved it. It's never happening. Naughty Dog issued a big press release and a big statement saying, we realized that to build factions and to support it the way you have to support a live service game, our entire studio would have to transition to supporting one live service title, and it would completely obliterate our single-player team. We're sorry, but we will not be developing a live service, a games-as-a-service model title. And wow, did that brought a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts, because I think it sums up incredibly well the issue with a traditional single-player developer transitioning over to develop a games-as-a-service title, and the work that goes into it, and the commitment that goes into it, and how it will take over your studio. Again, Crystal Dynamics. They weren't the right studio for Marvel's Avengers. Neither was the Foundation engine. Oh, God, why did they use the Foundation engine? Again, I say this, like, I'm really, really irritated by the Foundation engine right now because I've been trying to mod Marvel's Avengers. I hate the Foundation engine. It's a worthless engine. It's worthless to learn it. Like, there's no value in learning the Foundation engine. And it's like, I mean, honestly, you could probably say there's no value in even trying to reskin some of the Marvel characters, but I mean, it would be a fun little thing, and it'd be a fun little gesture. But yeah, there's probably no value in any of this whatsoever. And it's like, why did Crystal Dynamics do that? Why? I mean, I know why they did it. They did the whatchamacallit, Why am I brain farting? Like, they didn't want to pay licensing fees. You know what I mean? They didn't want to pay licensing fees for Unreal. That's just a simple thing. The chief creative, the chief executives at Crystal Dynamics said, "Oh, we'll just use our foundation engine because we don't want to pay anybody." And it's like, that's a terrible way to make a game. I mean, that limits. It's so restrictive. And then of course now we have Rocksteady, again, very traditional single player games, very committed and immersive single player games, and now they're doing Suicide Squad, which again, I'm not getting. Everybody, I mean, I'm not reviewing it. This isn't a review. I'm sticking to my, to the parameters of my NDA. But as it stands, I played the alpha, so I can't review it. But I can say that I'm not pre-ordering it. That's the clearest kind of message I can send, and that's how. But that's as far as I can go with that, right? Okay, so let's look at the comments. Mike says Sanders Venom modern era epic collection Agent Venom trade paperback. That's a mouthful. That's what she said. Is at $40.49. I'm going to call it, you use the pound sign. So, but anyway, I'm just going to round it up very easily. And Ben Reilly Spider-Man, the trade paperback is $14.39. Do you think I should buy them? I have the money, but I just want to know your opinion. Ooh. Okay, so first, just so I have the full perspective, because obviously I don't have this in my documents, and I have my documents up right now, so I'm going to bring up a Google, and I'm going to, what's in the Ben Reilly Spider-Man trade paperback? Because I don't know what's in there. I assume I'm going to find the right one. Is this a weird angle? There we go. That's better. Yeah, you use the euros. Euros, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think this is the right one. Yeah, this is the right one. Oh, it literally is just a collection of Ben Reilly Spider-Man 1 through 5. Ooh. Hey, thank you, nerd. Thank you. And thank you for joining. And again, to everybody, I'm going to be shameless one more time. As people kind of join in and drop in. As you're dropping in and out, please, consider liking the video. But yeah, so I definitely would go for the Agent. Ooh, that's a tough one. So I'm of two minds about it, Mike. Those are both great collections, but at the same time, now I don't know if America's having the same kind of sales, but like in my opinion, if you do you already have the Epic the Venom Epic collection? Because I would go for that. Now I don't know if that's on if that's on sale where you are, but if you could the Venom Epic collection, which hold on a minute, I'll link it. Which I don't know. But this one. Now in America, this one is cheaper right now. You don't have any of them. Oh, okay. Oh shoot. But again, like I said, your mileage may vary on where you're. You can now put people in time. Oh, okay. Sorry, YouTube is notifying me of. Oh, I have a whole thing about YouTube, but I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, so this is a collection that I highly recommend. Let's see. Stormgamer. Oh, sorry. Stormgamer says the Pattinson suit was just added to all versions of Arkham Knight. I saw that. I saw you post that in the Discord, man. I'm very excited to start my play. Okay, well, I won't be starting it anytime soon because I'm going on vacation. But I am very excited to eventually start my playthrough. Why isn't it going? And then Stormgamer says, when will there be a mod for the man suit in Arkham Knight for PC? Are the modders stupid, lol? And Mike says it's so unfortunate the comic shop situation around where I live. Oh, do you have none, or is the closest one an hour away? Because that does suck. I get that, especially because I'm a real huge proponent of 3 to 4 kilometers away from me and has so few comic stuff there now. That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Because I hate hearing that about comic books. Because I feel like it's important to shop physically for comics. Oh, Casual Gamer, hey. And Ronnie. Ronnie says, hey, Greg, hey. Okay, Casual Gamer says, hi, hope you're well. What's your thoughts on the reports that say Ike is planning on a hostile takeover on Marvel by buying shares and stocks? Do you think he could climb back up to being Marvel's leader? No, he wants to take over all. I mean, like, he wants to take over Marvel and Disney. I actually have a video coming on that. It's going to be a bit repetitive, but I do hope you watch that video when it gets uploaded during my vacation. But I highly, 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 highly recommend you checking out that video. Beyond that, no, I don't think there's any chance. Disney's board of directors is not going to allow him or his, oh gosh, I forgot the man's name. It's all in the video that's coming. I know it's coming because I scheduled it. I have a ton of videos scheduled for during my vacation. But no, there's not a chance in hell that he gets that. Not a chance in hell. Let's see. So you don't have any of them, and it's not letting me send links. Okay. I'm gonna do this. Mike, if you're in the Discord, we have a comic channel, and I'm gonna because I don't know, YouTube is not letting me send any links. Stormgamer says, I am kind of serious since there's already a mod for the Travis Scott Batman. And Stormgamer says, wait, Ike Perlmutter is trying to get back into power? Yes, he is. He's like Trump. He refuses to go away. He just refuses to go away, which is fitting because he's also Donald Trump's biggest donator. Oh, Mike DeMeme. Mike DeMeme says, hey, Sanders, wanted to ask a question real quick. What are your most wanted suits in the Insomniac Wolverine game? And gonna miss listening to your live streams while you're on holiday break, but be safe and enjoy. Thank you. And again, remember, you can still listen to our scheduled videos as they go up. I do appreciate it. You know, watch them, hit that like button, leave a little comment saying hi. I love it. Okay, anyway. Enough shamelessness. So my most wanted suits, I want the white tuxedo. I want the classic yellow and blue, which I want the classic yellow and blue. We've now seen it, so we know it's in there. But I also want the first appearance where he has the whiskers because it's just so ridiculously like perfect. I love it. I love the little whiskers. But then I want the ultimate X-Men uniform, which the spy uniform, you know, whatever. Oh, you're not in the Discord yet. Oh crap. Well, you got to drop into the Discord. You got to drop into the Discord, Mac. I legitimately don't know why YouTube's not letting me send links. It's just literally not. It will not. It's not. I don't know why. That's weird. It's my channel. I should be able to send it. Anyway, I will be posting links to like my recommendations on like stuff like if you don't have anything Venom related. Like I have my tiers of like, oh, I would start with this one first and then like go down the list. Okay, so Mike says there is a comic shop that is like 30 to 40 minute hike at my speed, which is like having nitro in my veins. Oh crap, that's crazy. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, that kind of limits you to where you're shopping. Casual Gamer says, do you think the unannounced Xbox Marvel game will be released before the Blade game? Not at this moment. Like, as of the information that I'm kind of aware of during this current live stream, no, I think it's more likely we see re-releases before Blade, then Blade comes out, and then whatever else Microsoft has planned in terms of new titles. That's just my current perspective in terms of like where I have concluded development to be at. Let's see. And Casual Gamers and the other new Xbox Marvel game, yeah. And then suits. I think, yeah, like the patch suit is one, and then of course the yellow one, the brown one, the first appearance one. TJ says, yo, what is cracking? And then he has his egg frying pan, which I love it. Hey, TJ, thank you for dropping in. I'm trying to think if there's like any weird... Oh, you know, the astonishing Wolverine costume from when Joss Whedon was writing it. I like that suit too. I feel obligated. Like, I feel like we have to get the Wolverine outfits from the X-Men movies. Even though they're really boring, black with some orange lines. Like, those costumes are terrible. But again, we will probably also get the Deadpool 3 Wolverine costume, which again, obviously it's not going to be that different from the Jim Lee costume. I would love a also like legitimate like 3D model comic styled one. That would be really cool. You know, cell shaded, all that great stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty traditional in my Wolverine, and so I feel like they're definitely going to hit it. I think the most outlandish one that I want is the white tuxedo suit with the eye patch. That's probably the weirdest one. And then of course the Weapon X one where he has the big helmet and he's in his undies. Like I feel like that's an obligation, you know. TJ says happy Friday, and a happy Friday to you as well. Stormgamer says, I'm lucky that I now have a comic shop that's about 10 minutes away from where I live. They've been open for about a year now. That is really awesome. So, again, I've talked about this before, but so when I was growing up and when we were in Texas, my comic shop was Lone Star Comics. That's long gone. That's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. And since then, especially, so since being a kid and when we were in Texas, that's where I shopped. And since coming back to Texas as an adult, my comic shop is now Keith's Comics. And that's at that's at a place that's at Firewheel Town Center in Garland, Texas. And I love that shop. I highly recommend it. They have 3 stores. They've been open since 1989, which is, hey, the year I was born. But I highly, like, if you're in Texas and you're looking for a comic shop, Keith's Comics is a way to go. Highly recommend it. I love that place. And there's one on Mockingbird in Dallas. And I can't. I'm sorry, I'm brain farting on where the third one is. Oh, and then there's also Zeus's Comics in Dallas, which I have shopped at periodically, but it's too far. The North Garland one is closer. I can get on the George Bush Turnpike, and I can be there in about 20 minutes. And in the United States, I don't know where all of you are in relation to United States versus international, but in the United States, there's not much you can walk to, especially in Texas. There's not a whole lot you can walk to, Mac. You can walk to a Walmart. You know what I'm saying? That's really it. Okay, Casual Gamer says, also, do you think that if Blade is successful, it will result in more new Marvel Xbox games? Oh, absolutely. Spider-Man led to Wolverine. That's because of success. It's a shame that Midnight Suns failed, and that's why I always tell people when we do these streams, I see the comments sometimes. I know that there are people who, I know people say shill and all that stuff, but one, if I'm excited about something, I'm going to be excited about it. YouTube, I don't give a shit. YouTube's not going to change my level of excitement. I don't care what people call me. But legitimately, if it's a high quality title that's a Marvel game and you want there to be more Marvel games, then if you support it and it makes money, you'll get more. If you don't and they bomb like Midnight Suns and Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel's Avengers, you won't get more. If we have a string of failures, we won't get more. And that would disappoint me. I love superheroes. My kids love superheroes. They're great, fun games to play. I love it when they're single player. I love it when they're co-op. I love superhero groups and co-op games. Ultimate Alliance, Ultimate Alliance and X-Men Legends are still my favorite Marvel games. And you can throw in some Marvel vs. Capcom. You can throw that in too. Those are good. But I like to go through levels. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, It goes back to that thing. Like, Midnight Suns was a great title, and it bombed spectacularly, led to massive layoffs at Firaxis, and that sucks because it was actually really freaking good. Way better than Halo Infinite, way better than so many of the other titles that had so much more money spent on them, and it bombed. But then Spider-Man has been successful. Wolverine has been successful. Batman was successful, and then Gotham Knights bombed. I could get into a whole thing. I don't know what the future holds for Suicide Squad right now. I really don't. I hope we have a long future of Marvel titles. I really do. But I'm not going to, again, if a game is shit, then I'm not going to tell you, oh, no, you have to spend $70 so that we can have more. I'm not ever going to tell you to do that. I would never suggest doing that. That's not what this channel is. But if it is a high-quality game, and you can get it on sale even or whatever, then awesome. You get a great game, and you get the opportunity of telling them, like, hey, I want more of this. But now we're getting into an age where games are $70. It's got to be worth that money, especially because how it works in the gaming industry, and I don't know if any of you know this, but the gaming industry, if it doesn't make money in the first 2 months, it's considered a failure. It doesn't matter, like this, if the sale happens too late or whatever, it does not matter. It needs to make back its budget in those first 2 months or it's done. And that's why they go on and on about pre-orders. Developers are at the mercy of the money that they get from publishers and from their partnerships. And so developers who are desperate to stay alive and keep people employed will go around and go, listen, pre-order, pre-order, pre-order. And it's because they need to show that, no, we have an audience. We have an audience. We swear people will buy, people are going to buy this. People are lining up to buy this. I love you too. So that's why pre-orders matter in marketing. I'm of two minds about it. There is a part of me as a normal consumer where I'm like, I don't like pre-ordering. I really don't. But then there's the marketing side of me who's been a consultant, who's worked with game studios, who has been like, no, like, unfortunately, this is actually a big deal because the publishers pay attention to this, and it sucks. So yeah, it's difficult, and it's difficult to give like one definitive answer on how do you support this and what's the right way, what's the wrong way. There is no right or wrong. It's your perspective and it's what you're comfortable with. If you're going to pre-order, don't let the internet don't let the internet try to trash you about pre-ordering, because honestly, the developers need to see that. The developers need to see pre-order numbers. It's just the truth.
Daddy.
Okay, let's catch up now, because I went on a tangent. I went on another freaking tangent. I'm sorry. Mike says, and now I'm not in the Discord yet, has joined the others in history, because now that has changed. Oh, welcome to the Discord. I will get around to posting those as soon as possible. If we have a lull during the live stream, I'll do it then. Ronnie says, do you think they'll do an X-Men 97 suit with the animation style? That'll be amazing if they can pull that off. I hope so. I feel like it's an obligation to do it. Okay, Mike says, by the way, the thing I kind of hate about most comics in any comic store where I live and stuff is that most of them are in Portuguese, and I prefer them in English because some stuff translated just ain't the same. Oh, that's really interesting. Well, I mean, I assume they're in Portuguese because that's the default language, unless you're in like a really weird corner of America. But that's really interesting. I respect that. I can understand how like English to I totally understand how stuff can get lost in translation, especially nuance. Nuance can get lost in translation very easily. I know that just from experience. Mike says, for example, I have the 2000s Flash Rebirth in Portuguese, and some stuff like Speed Force translated to some funny stuff, and it kind of takes me out of the story. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Again, never read it in Portuguese, but now I'm very curious. If you don't, I would love to see like I would love to see what it like directly translates to, because I'm curious now. Like, I don't want to put you out on time, but I am really curious to see like what some of the stuff, because I love Flash Rebirth. I love that comic, and I'm really curious. Okay, Casual Gamer says, do you think Blade is a 2026 or a 2027 title? That's a good question. 2026. 2026, definitely. Easily 2026. When's Blade's 50th anniversary? Is that next year or is that the year after? I feel like, again, my brain is always like, oh, they got to put these out to line up with anniversaries, and then lo and behold, they keep missing all the anniversaries, which is just shitty. Okay, so TJ says, any idea how and why Daredevil and Elektra run into Wolverine? So again, it's still wild I'm going to call it wild speculation. So it's a part of the Insomniac League, but to play devil's advocate, to be absolutely fair, we don't know for certain if it's Wolverine or if it's somehow connected to Spider-Man DLC. The logical conclusion, I guess I had someone say, couldn't it just be a Daredevil game? And I guess that's possible, but good Lord, it just seems like they don't have the manpower to do all of these games. So as of right now, I'm thinking that the Daredevil stuff is for Wolverine. That's where my gut instinct is taking me, and I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if it's because of the hand is involved. Now, we know Madripoor is a location, but there's also been, since these leaks started, now I haven't seen it. I haven't seen visual proof, but since these leaks started, there's also apparently like some kind of New York hub or New York New York experience in the Wolverine game, which leads me to believe like maybe the game starts in New York, right? Maybe the game starts in New York. Something happens with the ninjas, and that's where Daredevil appears, and that's where Elektra appears, and the something with the hand or whatever leads Wolverine to Madripoor. But now that's just me trying to put together how this might work, because I don't see why Daredevil as, I mean, I can see Elektra in Madripoor, but I can't see Daredevil in Madripoor, if that makes sense. And again, that's my own bias. That's me. That's my fucking biases. Like, I freely admit that. I'm just going through shit trying to figure it out. But Daredevil is a New York hero, so like it feels like for Daredevil to appear, something has to happen in New York, and maybe that's the inciting incident that leads Wolverine to go to another location, to go to Madripoor. Okay, so let me get caught back up again. Mike says, I am so happy and thankful that I could find a trade paperback of Spider-Man Life Story in English, and I love that book. Again, that's actually an excellent book, yes. And Mike I think he's responding to our Portuguese talk when he says, yeah, it is XD. Rose Park, lightning strikes and Rose appears. Hello, Rose. Welcome to the stream. Again, shameless one more time. I'm going to be a little bit of a broken record. Make sure if you're popping in and out, just hit that like button before you go. We do appreciate it. And maybe consider hitting that share button. TJ says he's hoping for Tokyo in the Wolverine game. Ooh, yeah, that's fair. I have been wondering, like, just wild speculation since these leaks have started, looking at the concept art and stuff, like, looking at it, I'm like, is this Madripoor? Is this New York? Is this Tokyo? Are some of them, could it be all three? Could this actually be Madripoor and this be New York and this be Tokyo? It's just, but could Wolverine have three hubs of, like, smaller areas? And I think it's possible. I think that's possible. Maybe I'm reaching, but I think that's possible. But in terms of locations, now and this could be anywhere, but the only things that location concept art that have leaked that I've been able to decipher from my own perspective, there is a damaged, like an in ruins Weapon X facility. And then, of course, there is to me, it's very clearly Madripoor. But those are the only, like, location-related arts that I've seen with my own eyes that, well, again, I'm calling it Madripoor. Maybe it isn't. But, and then there is, and then there was that, this is a really small link. I don't consider this breaking news. But then there was also the art of Logan standing next to a motorcycle. And I don't know if that was just like, finding character research kind of concept art, or if it's a clue to being like, oh, the motorcycle really is in the game. But again, we're going off art. We're not going off in-game models yet. And again, just as another update to the Residia hacks, they still haven't shut them down. Sony and federal officers still have not managed to shut down the group. So the ransom countdown is still ongoing. And again, they are still saying that every last piece of document will be leaked. I don't know how many days are left in that countdown off the top of my head. I really just don't know. But I know we're getting down to the wire now. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they follow through on it. Because again, I am still of the mind that everything that has come out so far is legitimate. That's my perspective. That is the perspective of my channel. So that's the perspective of the videos and the stories that I upload. So far, there's no indication that this is some big fake. There's no, because, and again, we talked about this. I'm going to repeat myself, be a broken record for people who might, be tuning in for the first time. But this is a lot of hell to bring down on you to fake something like this. This is a lot of attention. And this particular hacker group is not known for faking shit. They are not known for it at all. So it's, I don't know. My perspective, that's it. Okay. Again, another tangent. I'm going to get caught back up. Mike says, I'm trying to find where they say Speed Force in it. I don't remember that well because I haven't read it in a while. That's fair. I love Rebirth, and I haven't read DC in a little bit. I've been having a nostalgia fit of going over older Marvel comics. Casual Gamer says, I am worried about Wonder Woman. We haven't seen anything since the teaser in 2021. I wonder when we could see it again. I don't think there's any reason to be worried. I think that's a little unfair because we haven't seen Wolverine. The leaks technically don't count. We haven't seen Wolverine since 2021 either. And everything, it's going along just fine. I feel like Wonder Wolver, whatever. Good Lord, the W's. I feel like Wonder Woman might actually come out in 2024. Maybe the very tail end, but I think we're really close to Wonder Woman coming out. The question is, you know, Suicide Squad kicks the year off, and I'm not excited about that. And then we get Wolverine, and then we get Wonder Woman. Yeah, 2024 is going to be a big year, and that's not counting any surprise older releases. Okay, TJ says Matt Murdock could be looking for criminal evidence against the Kingpin in Madripoor. Yeah, I can't spell that. It's fine. I'm not even sure. You know, I don't even know how I'd spell Madripoor. Honestly, I think I would spell Madripoor like you, and I think that is actually right. You're making me go to Google. I'm sorry, but now I have to know. Hey, you were right. That is how you spell Madripoor. That is how you spell Madripoor. Bravo. Hey, you knocked it out first try with a guess. Casual Gamer says, do you think Hulk could appear in Wolverine as a boss fight or even a cameo? Yes, I do. I think too. I mean, like, I know that is, again, separate licensing. I know that is separate licensing, and I know that they might charge for that. You know, I don't know if Marvel's on kind of like a, hey, we really like working with you. Yeah, you could use the Hulk. You don't got to pay. I don't see that happening. I'm sorry. I really don't. But I feel like Wolverine is so intrinsically tied to the Hulk that you have to have, I mean, like, I feel like anyway, yeah, you got to honor that somehow. You got to get a Hulk appearance in there. So, yeah, I think a boss fight would be incredible. Hey, see what I did there? See what I did there? But yeah, I want to see it. There's no clues yet. There's no evidence yet, except for the Easter egg in the teaser trailer that had the comic book number of Wolverine's first appearance, which was in an issue of the Incredible Hulk. But there's no actual evidence in the leaks that show the Hulk. But I will say, just to add, the Residia hacker group has put out a statement saying that they have more Marvel heroes that are going to appear in Wolverine that they will be revealing if their demands are not met. So there are even more surprises that we don't know about. So that is a really big deal. And Hulk could drop any day now, which sucks because if they drop Hulk during my vacation, like, good Lord, fuck the analytics. I'm going to miss out on all of that. Maybe I'll do a quick YouTube short wherever we are. You know what I mean? Just something to be like, oh, hey, here's the Hulk. So there we go. Okay, so then we've got, oh, yeah, and then, of course, TJ saying Matt Murdock could be looking for criminal evidence against the Kingpin in Madripoor, which, again, is fair. I respect that. He absolutely could. But if Wolverine is legitimately in the same universe and contemporary with the events of Spider-Man, Kingpin's already in jail. There's really nothing to go for. And then Ronnie says, it'll be cool to see if we get DLC for Spider-Man 2, that the last DLC could be involving the hand, so it'll connect to Wolverine. Oh, man, I'd love that. I'd love that. I would absolutely. That would be great, but I'm losing hope more and more that we're going to see DLC for Spider-Man 2. And again, I say that with, like, I'm going off leaks where there's literally no, you know, we don't know. The leaks aren't the complete package. I'll be fair to that, you know, playing devil's advocate. But it's like, it's looking less and less likely we're getting story DLC. Mike says Speed Force is translated in it as Forca Acceleratriz. I know I didn't say that right. I know I fucking didn't. TJ says, I'm also expecting a World War II flashback battle. Oh, yeah. So am I. I mean, 100% so am I. Mike says, oh, I found my trade paperback of Flash Year 1, English edition, while I was trying to find Flash Rebirth, and I want to know what you think of it. Ooh, Flash Year 1. I don't think I've read that. I honestly don't. I don't think I've read Flash Year 1. I really don't think I have. Casual Gamer says, yeah, you're right, Greg. Sometimes I forget that a lot of games get announced and go dark for a couple of years. Brain fart, if you will. Hey, I respect it. We all got brain farts. And then you lull. But and again, Casual's referencing, you know, Wonder Woman and Wolverine being announced at the same time. So, again, it just goes back to the fact that, you know, they announce these things so early and then they go dark, but I think everything's fine. And then Rose Park says, I have a good feeling we are going to get a Hulk boss fight. Mike says, because personally, I really love that version of Barry's origin. See, that's probably why I don't, again, I will freely admit, and a lot of this is a bias because when I was growing up, my favorite Flash is Wally West. That's my Flash. Like when I think of somebody in a costume, it's Wally West. That is my Flash. So I do have a bias and an attachment to him more than Barry Allen was dead when I was reading comics. Barry Allen was long dead. So I don't have that kind of personal love for him. Now again, I love Rebirth. That's a great comic, but I'm not engaged with Barry like I am with Wally. Like Wally is Flash to me. I love his development as a hero. I love the character he became. I'm really into Wally West as my definitive Flash. Let's see. Casual Gamer says, do you think Wolverine could get story DLC and even a sequel? Well, so story DLC, again, that's always a question of the likelihood because of Insomniac. Now, this is my perspective just based on the leaks and all the titles that they're working on right now. Insomniac is a studio of about 600 people. And when I say about 600 people, there's like 550, something like that. So there's 550 employees at Insomniac. And right now, they are working on, Spider-Man 2 post-launch updates. They are actively working on Wolverine. They're actively working on a new Ratchet and Clank, and then Spider-Verse. That's everything that's listed in their development. So that's basically 4 titles for about 550 people spread over that. So I mean, you could give about 200 to each, which again is reasonable because it takes about 200 people work on one title in most development studios. So when you look at it from that perspective, which is crazy a lot. I mean, when I was young, games were being made by 30 people. Good Lord, that's a whole other tangent. But again, there was a lot of jack of all trades. A lot of people did multiple stuff back in the day. So when you look at that amount of people and you look at those titles, I don't know if DLC is going to go away and then they're just going to focus on, oh, hey, no, let's try to fast-track spin-offs and let's try to fast-track sequels. It's an ebb and flow, and I guess it comes down to what the consumer wants. Oh, and Spider-Man 3, yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry, I brain farted on that. That's me. But yeah, Spider-Man 3 is on the list. It's on their development list. I just wasn't thinking. But when you look at all of that, so when you look at Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man 2 updates, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Verse, you have a studio that I don't want to say is spread too thin, but there is. I think consumers, little tangent, I think consumers are going to have to start making a choice on whether they want the story DLC or if they want a faster turnaround on full games. Because something has to give. And is spending $70 and then $30 something you want to do? Because there's also the fear that it might not sell. There's also a fear that that development on that $30 DLC might not make back what it took to make it and could put the studio in the hole, which is crazy to think about, but that's the world we live in now. Like, these games are costing way so much. They're costing too much, frankly. Budgets are ballooning in Hollywood and the gaming industry, and I just don't see how they're going to manage to survive with these kind of budgets. But with all of that being said, I think it is going to come to a point where the consumer will have to make a choice. Do you want a $70 game and then $30 DLC, or do you want a $70 game and a shorter wait to another $70 game? It's going to be a tough one. And actually, I'm going to make a note of that real quick because that could be its own video. And then Mike Lightning goes on to talk about how Forza Acceleratrix, which again, I'm going to just fuck that up. Ronnie says, I have a feeling we'll see Punisher and Wolverine too. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Rose Park says, who would you guys want as the DCU Flash, Wally or Barry? Wally. Mike says, yeah, to me it's like this. Barry's the Flash that got me in the door, but Wally's the Flash that got me to stay and to be a member of the family. Hey, I respect that. And then, of course, Casual was asking about Spider-Man 3. And then Mike says, Rose Park Radio, Wally, honestly, Ginger Wally, please. Yes, I agree. And have him be besties with Dick, please. And yes, Sanders, everybody loves Dick. Again, the Arkham memes, they have taken over. Casual Gamer says, so you do think it will get a sequel if it is successful? Speaking of Wolverine. Yeah, 100%. You're not going to leave money on the table. I mean, honestly, it's kind of shrewd, but that is the simplest business ever. If it makes money and it makes a ton of money, you make a sequel so that you get all those people and more back to ride the hype and make more money. And then hopefully buy the original and then make even more money. So it is... It's pretty straightforward. It's a little shrewd, but yeah, if it's making money, they're going to keep doing it. They're just going to keep doing it. And I don't see a scenario where Wolverine isn't successful. I do not see a scenario, any scenario where Wolverine bombs. I can't imagine it. It would be utterly shocking to me. Even this leak, I don't see this leak harming it in any way whatsoever. Rose Park says, I would love Wally for the DCU as well. Oh, right on. Hey, and again, you're not going to get a disagreement from me. Yeah, buddy. Mike says, and please let there have been a JSA and a Jay Garrick flashback during the World War II period. I think that's a very strong possibility. I think that's a very strong possibility. Now, I don't know if they will have been calling themselves the JSA just because of some of the leaks that have come out, but I know that Superman is not the first and only superhero, and they've been around for a bit. And just because of the way this universe is already going to be established, it does give me hope that, yeah, Barry's operating, and maybe Barry is still operating, but Wally West is out there too. And so I'm really, really hopeful. Okay, Casual Gamer says, I'm asking because Insomniac is becoming a Marvel studio now, and I'm wondering when they will move away from Marvel. Like, aren't they sick from working with Marvel for well over a decade? I have no idea. Yeah, buddy. Okay. And then, no, Casual, I get what you're saying. Insomniac is sort of becoming a Marvel studio. The question, now they're still making Ratchet and Clank. They're still making their baby, right? But with Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Wolverine, and Spider-Verse, that is 4 Marvel titles, and then Ratchet and Clank. Now, we assume... this is the only assumption we can make because I don't want to speak ill or speak negatively for these developers. I don't want to put words in these developers' mouths. We can assume that the developers are making what they want to make. They're making Spider-Man games and Wolverine games because they want to. With that as the most important part of this statement, we have to assume that, okay, that's it. They're making because they want to, and that's great. At the other end of it, if the leak from last year is correct, Spider-Man 3 is the end of their licensing contract for Spider-Man. So the question then becomes, do they renew, or does Spider-Man get handed off to someone else and, hey, here's a new reimagined Spider-Man? And that's an interesting conversation. That's an interesting perspective, but we simply won't know. We don't know until Spider-Man 3 comes out. I will say that the way that they're building, it feels like they're not planning to do more Spider-Man games after Spider-Man 3. They might transition to Wolverine and X-Men. They might transition to Wolverine. Who knows? That's a lot of speculation, and I don't want to try to put words into nearly 600 people's mouths. You know what I mean? That's what she said. Nah, there's not a dirty joke there. But clearly, they're making this because they want to. And they do have a contract expiration date, and it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. Now the thing is, that's a few years away. We'll see what happens. Rose Park says, "Oh, we need Jay Garrick." I agree. Mike says he wants the JSA, but not Black the Rock Adams JSA version. Oh, nobody wants to see that. Mike says, Rose, damn straight. Ronnie says, Greg, are you a fan of Percy Jackson and planning to watch the new show? Sorry if you answered this already. Oh, no apologies. I'm cool. Like, again, this is just normal chatting. And, dude, in terms of asking and answering stuff already, I repeat myself so damn much, it doesn't fucking matter. That's not a big deal. You don't got to apologize. So I am a fan of Percy Jackson. I didn't follow Percy Jackson growing up. My daughter is a huge fan of Percy Jackson. So us watching it, she's really like the whole reason that we will watch it. I I don't know how super interested she is in it, but I know that it is something that we've already talked about in the house. It's just a matter of, I don't know if we're going to be watching it because of vacation. I don't know how soon we're going to sit down to watch it. I know we're all excited about What If, and then we'll go from there. Rose Park says it'd be awesome if we get a Flash family film, just like we're getting the Bat family film. I absolutely agree. I want that so bad. I'm right there with you. Mike says to give some credit to Insomniac, their version of Craven is one of my favorites. Yeah, I'll give you that. Casual Gamer says the Cyberverse game is likely releasing before Spider-Man 3, right? I assume it's going to be the Miles Morales type of spinoff. TJ says, how would you tackle a Cyclops project? I'm not familiar with his origin or lore, but I think the character is great. I assume you mean the X-Men Cyclops, so I assume you're asking, like, are you talking about a solo Cyclops film or a solo Cyclops video game? I'm going to let you answer that. We're going to take a very brief intermission because my son has pooped. I got to change that diaper, and I will be right back, so we're going to our intermission screen. Avengers Reassemble, which is actually a really good comic that I highly recommend. Brian Michael Bendis was on fire. Anyway, I'm back. I'm going to start catching up. Okay. Whew. Let me get some water. TJ, okay, like I got to catch up. So TJ says, how would I tackle a Cyclops solo film? So that is a really good question. For me, no light in the sky, third act battle. Like for me, I would do a Cyclops solo film as a low budget family film. Culminating with the story of basically, it would be about Cyclops, growing up, and then around his teenage years, it would, the film would culminate with him losing his family in the plane accident. So his powers activate, the plane's destroyed, he's separated from his brother Alex, he thinks his whole family's dead, and then the film will end with him being found by Xavier. So I would keep it very small and very personal. It would not be a traditional superhero film. It would be a drama film. It would be a drama film. And for a director, I would go to Korea. I'd look for a Korean director for that one. It would be a really tightly focused, dark drama film. It would not be traditional superhero fare. So it'd be very, very different, but I would also keep the budget very low. You can do it for about $15 million, just from my perspective. You can do a Cyclops film, because again, max age for the boy, 14 years old, give or take. Then you have Alex, the little brother. Then you have the parents. Very personal, very intimate drama story about him coming to terms with his powers and what he did to his family. And then have the film end on a bright note as he's found his new family and he is the first student recruited by the Xavier Institute. That's what I would do there. Okay, Mike says, just give Flash a good suit, please. I agree with that. Oh, and again, just got back. Gonna be shameless real quick for everybody jumping in. Hit that like button before you go, and consider hitting that share button and subscribing if you haven't. Okay, Will Potter. Will! Now that is a name I've not seen in a while. Will says, enough with Zack Snyder stuff. If Rebel Moon gives us a break from all that stuff, the better movies will be in general. I agree, and Rebel Moon is awful anyway. Okay, so Rose Park says, Cyclops' backstory and origins are so meaty, bro. Could definitely make a good solo out of it. You absolutely could, but you have to play it right, and you got to get the right director. And you got to keep, again, I stand by it. It needs to be a family drama. Mike says, and not a Flash suit that looks inflated and uncomfortable to wear, and maybe one that looks practical for his power base. Yeah, again, just look at Young Justice, frankly. Rose Park says, yes, please, Mike. Casual Gamer says, as we're approaching the end of the year and your vacation, I just want to say thank you for all the amazing content that you share with us, and thank you for being a wonderful person. We love you. Keep being awesome. Casual, that is very overwhelming. Brother, that's a very sweet thing to say. That's really sweet. Casual, I know you've been with this channel for a very long time. I've seen your name for years, and to see you still here after all the copyright strikes, after all the restrictions that kept us from uploading videos and uploading live streams, it really is a blessing. Thank you. Because again, legitimately, thank you so much for sticking it out and for coming back to our channel. Really, thank you. Because that's just awesome. That's awesome to see all of you here hanging out. Mike says, and can we please get a Flash family without Lightwing going anywhere, please? Super speed is enough. I'm not sure I understand that reference, Mike. I'm not sure I understand that reference. I have to be honest. Lightwing. Casual Gamer says, and also thank you for educating us about the entertainment industry, both gaming and film. I'm happy to. I'm honestly, I'm happy to oblige. For me, it's more, I believe it's more important to make as many people aware of how the business is, even the really shitty parts of it. And then we have Apollo Gate. And I have not, good Lord, seen Apollo in a long time. Apollo says, man, it's good to see you. Sanders, it's been a while, and it's good to see you and your family good. Thank you, and it's great to see that name, Apollo. Apollo says, I can't stay long, but I've been following the Wolverine leaks, and someone is claiming that they have seen a Captain America art. Wanted to know your thoughts. Thanks, brother. As of right, as of this very moment, we really have, if it's out there, I've been doing my best to find it. I haven't seen any Captain America. But again, I'll keep my nose to the ground. I'll even do I'll even do a quick search to see if Residia has put up any documents on the dark web, if they've put up anything else. I'll do a quick check and see. But like when I started the recording, I hadn't seen anything new except for the Wolverine and motorcycle concept art, and then the Weapon X base ruins. Because there's so much to go through anyway. But like I haven't seen Captain America art. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting. Rose Park says, I, for one, would actually welcome the lack of... Oh, you mean like lightning bolts? Very ironic you don't see the lightning... Oh, Rose Park says, very ironic you don't want to see lightning given your name, lol, Mike Lightning. So do you mean literally the lightning effects? TJ says, if you could cast anyone, who would it be? Are you talking about the Cyclops film? Again, a 14-year-old actor... I hate using this because I'm not trying to do a cop-out, but I would go for an unknown for, I mean, like Cyclops and Alex, they're kids, so like I would go for an unknown. For Cyclops' dad, who again would have a very prominent role later on in the universe. Let me think. You gotta let me think. You gotta let me think. Oh, so they would need to be in their 40s. Well, honestly, if the kids are young, like, you can be in your 30s and have a 14-year-old and a kid. I mean, again, I'm in my 30s and I have a 15-year-old and a 3-year-old. He's 3 in January, but still, it's the same. So you'd want to cast... I would want Scott Summers' father to be someone with presence and theater presence, someone that I'm comfortable being known, but it still has to be within that age range. It has to be within that 40-year-old age range. 40-year-old Caucasian actor with gravity for a family drama. I got to think about that. Mike says, if you want an excuse for them to have lightning going on when they're running, just make it the light mirage or something of the gold parts on the suit like they used to do in the comics. I get what you're saying now with the lightning going everywhere. I totally get what you're saying now. Casual Gamer says, do you think it is likely for Ghost Rider to get a new game? Yeah, I absolutely do. Yeah, 100% I do. I think, honestly, any Marvel character is on the table now. I firmly believe any Marvel character is on the table now for potential with titles. Marvel's talking to so many different studios. I think they have big plans to really explode into the gaming industry, which they should have done years ago. It took them long enough. Okay, and then Mike says, yeah, Rose, that shows that I know what I'm talking about in reference to his name. Okay, so let's see. Actors. How would I want to search this up? That's tough. 40-year-old Caucasian actor. Apollo Gay says, thanks, Sanders. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to join the streams as much as my job is very demanding, but I'm happy with it. I'll just catch the streams after. Hey, brother, honestly, I respect that a great deal. Thank you for even taking the time to check out our archives. We do appreciate it. Like, that's awesome. And hey, demanding job and you're happy. Happiness is the most important thing. Like that's at the top of it. That should be at the top of everyone's list. Like, you make sure you're happy and you make sure the people around you are happy. Because that happiness is key. Happiness is key. So, again, that's a good thing. Always want to hear that people are happy. Mike says, yeah, Wally's Kid Flash suit in Young Justice is my favorite Kid Flash suit ever. Right there with you. Casual Gamer says, by the way, sorry to keep asking about Marvel and DC games. I'm a huge fan of Marvel and DC games, and I play a lot of them. I'm really passionate. Hoping it doesn't bother. It absolutely is not. Hey, I mean, like, that's what we're here to do. We're here to sit around and talk. We're here to sit around and talk shit. Like, if we're not talking about Marvel and DC games, like, what the hell? Like, it's cool, man. You're not a bother at all. We are here to sit and talk about this stuff. Mike says, just get an immortal like Paul Rudd. I get it. Okay, so I'm going to have the weirdest fucking Google search ever right now. 40-year-old Caucasian actor. This is gonna be so fucking weird. All right. Oh, that's interesting. He came up immediately, but I'm actually, because I couldn't. Steve Carell. Steve Carell was literally the first thing that came up because of the 40-year-old virgin. Not exactly the search result I was looking for. But Steve Carell, like, because again, he's not like he's not going to get he's not going to go after or even try to be a superhero, but like as Scott Summers' dad, I could see that. I could see that completely. Let's see. George Clooney came up, but George Clooney is Nick Fury. George Clooney is Nick Fury. He'll never be anything different. This is a terrible search. This is not helpful at all. This is not a helpful search. Just want to be very clear. This is not a helpful search. I'm trying to think of like what I've seen. See, this is where it comes into the fact that I watch so much anime, and I watch more anime and cartoons than I watch live action, so I don't have an awareness of a lot of actors right now. And so I'm just like, I need someone to be his dad and and to be willing to have that kind of potential, be back for a couple of more films down the line. And you need to be somewhere within your 30s and 40s. Okay, I'm going to jump to the comments real quick. TJ says Bethesda should definitely make a Ghost Rider game after Blade. I agree with that. I also really like the art style they chose. Not everything needs a photoreal aesthetic. I know, TJ, I'm right there with you. If for anybody who's been with the channel a long time, again, you've already heard me bitch and complain so much about this, but stop with the photorealistic. Like, I want some stylization. It's a video game. Experiment. Give us art styles. Give us color. Give us vibrancy. And also, it's not taxing on the engine. If it's not taxing on the engine, that's like the biggest thing. You can save so much money with a versatile, unique, stylized aesthetic. And it's like they're missing out. They're fucking missing out. This is comic books. Go for it. Anyway, but yeah, Bethesda could totally do, like any of Bethesda studios, honestly, could make a really fucking awesome Ghost Rider game. That's great. But I honestly, there's even some stuff at Microsoft that could do Ghost Rider justice. And I know Bethesda is Microsoft, but like Bethesda, just so many studios were under Bethesda already. Anyway, so let's go 30-year-old Caucasian actors. I've seen all the first ones that came up have already been in Marvel films. This is terrible. This is... Oh, I could see this guy. I don't know who he is. There's no name associated with it. I don't know what's going on. All right. I'm going to have to stop that rabbit hole real quick. I'm going to go back to... Okay, Will Potter says, I hope Insomniac gets the whole X-Men together. I do too. I would love that. I would love that. Mike Lightning says, I'm kind of sad we didn't get Colonel Jupiter or Man-Wolf on either Spidey games. So am I. TJ says, have you seen the concept art for Blade, Sanders? I have. I am working on a video, but I was working on a video. At this point, it won't be up until after our break. But the art is going to go, all the concept art will be up and archived on our Patreon later today, 100%. And then... Let's see. Or it might be up pretty soon. Let's see. Casual Gamer says, there's reports that say the next Xbox will release in 2026 and a PS5 Pro next year. Do you believe these rumors? And do you think that PlayStation will also release the PS6 in 2026? Or do you think it is 2028? I think if Microsoft really does do 2026, they'll force their hand. But also, there's so many... I mean, look at how many times we've been told that, oh no, the PS5 Pro is coming out this year. I mean, like, we've been hearing that since the PS5 launched. And we've been hearing about a Switch. Every year, a Switch 2 is supposed to come out. So I kind of just let that stuff ebb and flow. Obviously, they are going to put out next consoles. I predict 2027. That's my prediction. But it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. I don't put much stock in any of that nonsense. If it comes to pass, so be it. But it's just so much noise because there's always something about, no, it's this year or that year. It's just... It's not worth it. And a lot of the actual developers I talk with, depending on the studios and stuff, they don't even follow any of it. Like, I'm not going to on average talk with someone who's going to be a part of hardware development for a next generation console. that doesn't really slide across in terms of my colleagues and the people that I meet up and talk with when I go to these conferences. But I just kind of like let it go in one ear and out the other. I mean, like, unless something actually legitimately lands in my lap and I'm like, oh, I can prove and verify this. Let's go. Let's see. Mike says, speaking of bitching and complaining, I'm so disappointed in Insomniac for not giving Miguel O'Hara his freaking cape in Spider-Man 2, neither while gliding nor like Arachnite. Yeah, that was a weird choice. Mike says, and please just give me the freaking unlimited cartoon suit. Oh, yeah. But I feel like that cartoon is so niche, like they won't ever do it. But again, that's what mods on PC are for, man. Mods on PC modding. I'm telling you. Casual Gamer says, yeah, it is tons of FOMO. It really is. Like it's such a like it's a rabbit hole of madness to go down because hardware speculation. Because to be frank, like, there's tons of gossip, and you can pick a year and get pretty close to being right. Like, you don't even have to know anything to go, well, this is... I mean, if all you have to do is pay attention to trends and release schedules, really. So it's hard to even know legitimately, like, is this coming from something reliable, or is this coming just because you've reached a logical conclusion? Mike says you don't even have to give him his web cape if you don't want to, because that suit doesn't need the cape to complete it, like another suit. Yes. And TJ said, what's? I'm waiting. I feel like there's a follow-up there, but all he put is what's. Oh, okay. What's the odds Spider-Man 3 comes before Silk? Do you mean... When you say Silk, do you mean her in a spin-off game, or do you mean the Silk Amazon series? Which one do you mean? Because I don't want to answer the wrong thing. So I will give you a minute to clarify before I start running my mouth. Mike says, I don't care if it's niche. We just need another undie suit. Oh, I respect you. I want the niche stuff, but I don't. It seems like It seems like Insomniac. I mean, we've gone so long now. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're going to end up doing it. So okay, TJ says her spin-off game. Oh, that's a good question. That's a very good question. I feel like if anything, maybe Silk will be incorporated into the Spider-Verse game. Because honestly, I just want them to get all these Spider characters done with, just so Spider-Man 3 can be focused. And if that means all these come first, but like in terms of like a Silk solo game, that would have to be after Spider-Man 3, I feel like. I mean, they're just so packed already. I feel like it has to be. And then Mike says, right, Insomniac. And then Mike adds, sorry, I get kind of heated with stuff like this sometimes. No, hey, it's fine. We all have our versions of these characters. We all know what these characters are, what these characters should be, what we want the characters to look like, what we would like them to look like, what we want to dress them up as. Like, we all have that perspective, whether you've been a fan for 10 years, whether you've been a fan for over 30 years like me. Like, we all have that business going on, and it's like there is nothing wrong with going, hey, I want Spider-Man to look like this because this was what I watched growing up or whatever. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mike says, speaking of PC mods, Sanders, have you seen the MTV's Spider-Man suit and model? Honestly, it looks so dope. I have. Yes, I have. I have that downloaded and a part of my suit gallery. I have so many freaking suits on Spider-Man PC. My favorite is... I call it the Mark Bagley suit, the big eyes, very comic booky. But my favorite's that one, and then my second favorite is this spectacular Spider-Man PC model. I love those two. Those two are so much fun to swing around in. I only wish that, like, there was a way, and I've tried out some different lighting mods. I have a lighting mod, I have a lighting mod right now, which is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, but I wish it could look more cartoony and more stylized, because I'm not the biggest fan of going ultra photorealistic. I think there's something to be said that my favorite game is visually Ultimate Spider-Man. I think that says a lot about my visual preference, and it says a lot about my nostalgia too. I mean, it does. It says a lot about my nostalgia, and it doesn't bother me. I wear that stuff right on my fucking sleeve. I know I'm nostalgic, but yeah, I feel like those are my favorite suits, but like the MTV Spidey suit, it is beautiful, like right there. It really is. Ronnie says, I kind of assumed Silk was going to be a focus in the DLCs like Miles was with Peter for Spider-Man 1, but I guess Spider-Verse makes sense. Hey, I'm right there with you. Ronnie, I 100% agree. Like when I first played Spider-Man 2, I thought, oh, here's our DLC, Silk. But as we get further and further away and they're not talking about DLC, it's either the best kept fucking secret, or we're about to get a massive info dump from these leaks that reveal DLC plans, or it isn't happening. I mean, that's really the only options. Really great detective work. But yeah, as we get further and further away and they're not talking about it, because even in their press, even in their big statement saying, hey, we're working on this for the new year, they didn't mention DLC, which I like to... I don't know. I'm starting to wonder, like, maybe it's not. Maybe they're going directly to the spinoff. I mean, something's going on, and I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of that. Let's see. Mike says, tell me that design, the MTV Spidey suit in the game, isn't just the perfect marriage of 616 and Raimi. No, you're absolutely right. It really is. Like, in terms of, being, as you put it, the perfect marriage, it absolutely is. You are 100% on point, Mike. They really did knock that suit out of the park. Casual Gamer says, for fun, if you want to introduce Marvel superheroes to your little brother, or son, for me, it would be son, in interactive media, what games and movies, TV shows would you pick? I have a small brother and would love a dad's perspective. So, if it's Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man if they love cartoons. I have shown both of my kids Spectacular Spider-Man. My 15-year-old grew up with it. She loves Spectacular Spider-Man. My son watches it regularly with me. We've all watched the Raimi films. Again, so like it's Spectacular Spider-Man, it's the first two Raimi films. Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes is like one of the most beautiful, perfect representations of an adaptation for the Avengers. I would show them that immediately. I already have. We watch Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes very regularly when we're sitting around, eating breakfast and stuff. Love having Earth's Mightiest Heroes on. But yeah, I mean, like, for me, it's a lot of cartoons. It really is. And then those two Raimi films. But, like, if you're around kids that love cartoons, and my kids grew up around cartoons. They grew up around cartoons. I love cartoons. I love animation. I have a lot of respect for animation. So I'm always going to side with that more than live action. I love animation. And so for me, it's Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes and Spectacular Spider-Man. And start them off with that. And then I would go back, if you have Disney Plus, that 90s Spider-Man cartoon and that 90s X-Men cartoon, those cartoons that I grew up with, the Marvel animation age in the 90s that I grew up with was perfect. We had Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and X-Men cartoons. All of them need to be watched. And then X-Men Evolution, and then Wolverine and the X-Men. Like, start with the cartoons and you're good. The cartoons are great, but really, Earth's Mightiest Heroes and Spectacular, you got to start with. You just got to. Mike says, let's see, which it means a lot coming from a guy who never cared much or liked much for the Raimi suit. And I grew up with that trilogy. I literally was 2 years old when it came out. Oh, wow. I was 12. I was 12 when the first movie came out. Wait, May 2002. Yes. Yeah, I was 12 or 13. May 2002? I was 12 or 13 when it came out. And then Mike says, it just always looks too much Hollywoody for me, and not that practical, because all my memories of it is it getting all torn up easily. No, I respect that. I get what you're saying. I love the Raimi films. I'm very nostalgic for them. I love those films, but I do get what you're saying. Like, it was a very high quality suit. And Casual Gamer says, sounds great, thanks. No problem, brother. No problem at all. But yeah, you're always going to hear me preach on the cartoons. The cartoons are worth watching if you've got Disney Plus. If you've got Disney Plus, just boom. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Spectacular, and then go back through time. The primary reason I say start with those two, Spectacular and Earth's Mightiest, is, to be frank, better animation. They've aged really well, so it's like, okay, kids will hopefully have an easier time attaching to those, but still, like my 3-year-old son, him and I will sit and watch Spider-Man the Animated Series, that 90s cartoon, and we watch X-Men too, and I mean, like, again, I'm watching all that, and my daughter loves them too. So like, I know there's a perspective, every so often I'll hear people go, "Oh, those cartoons are terrible, you can't watch them," and I'm like, I don't think they're that bad, and my kids like them. Like, and maybe it's nostalgic, and maybe it's because of the relationship with the parents, because like I show my kids I will show my kids everything. Like, I love getting my kids involved in all this stuff, and I'm so happy that they're always thrilled by it. But it's like, they like it, so like, I think kids will connect to it. Like, and I think it's aged pretty well. A lot of it looks really good. Performances are really good. Like, it's really fun. Yeah, there's some choppy animations sometimes, but it still holds up really well in terms of adaptations. There we go. Just going on and finishing that. I like to keep all my archives together, and I just realized I should finish it before vacation. So we've just added the Blade concept art to our Patreon. Okay, so anyway, oh hey, we're all caught up. Nice, we're all caught up. So again, I'm gonna be repetitive just for a minute. I'm going to reiterate a couple of things, be a little shameless. So since we are caught up, I'm going to touch base real quick. Again, if you're just joining us, if you haven't clicked the like button yet, if you haven't clicked the share button, hey, consider clicking both of those and consider sharing across, whatever platforms you use, and then hitting that like button. If you're watching this in an archive, please consider, hey, dropping a hi, just saying hello. Again, YouTube loves it when you comment. It really does. And then I also wanted to remind anyone who may have just popped in, who's not in the Discord or whatever. This is our last live stream before vacation. So I wanted to be very clear because of how, because the copyright strikes, the restrictions, we've had YouTube lock us out from uploading videos and doing live streams. So I want to keep everybody aware. That's not what happened. I'm on vacation with my family. After today, we're going on vacation, so there won't be scheduled live streams. So if there is like a random live stream, it's going to be truly, legitimately random and not planned. So I will let anybody know, like, oh hey, we're going to live stream from wherever we are or whatever. We're going to have a little chat. But I will let everybody know when and if that happens. I'll give you a heads up. But there's no scheduled, so like there will be no live streams until after the new year in terms of like planning. But we do have scheduled videos. So Monday through Friday, every Monday through Friday. I mean, like, there's not a week that doesn't have a video that goes up. Every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time is a new Marvel topic video going over a lot of interesting topics, a lot of things that I've been excited to talk about since the channel got unlocked again. I'm really, really excited. Please consider, while I'm on vacation, watching those videos, liking them, leaving just a little comment. And we do have a special video going up on the week of Christmas. We have 2 special videos going up on the week of Christmas as my way of kind of exciting the channel and giving back to my patrons and my viewers. So pay attention to those and make sure you have notifications turned on. And again, I'll be popping in and out of the Discord, but I just wanted to intercut real quick since we were caught up with the comments. And now I'm going to go back to these comments because I see we've got a few more popping up. Mike says, dude, I remember watching the MTV series and Spectacular and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes and Ultimate and Avengers Assemble as they would come out and feeling the sadness of them ending and not knowing at the time that they wouldn't continue. Not Ultimate and Assemble. Yeah, I know. Ultimate Spider-Man and Avengers Assemble didn't hit with me. I don't recommend those at all. As you see, like, I'd rather go back in time. I don't like any, like, what Disney has done since Spectacular and Earth's Mightiest Heroes ended. I would just rather pretend didn't happen. but yeah, I mean, we're talking. There's so much great quality, nostalgic cartoons, and they're so good and so much better than anything Disney has put out. Casual Gamer says, "Do you think we will see resurgence of Marvel animation, especially if X-Men '97 and the new Spider-Man animated series do good? Do you see them doing more animated series if they like the reception of these?" Absolutely. I want to be very, also, I want to be really clear. What If Season 2 is reviewing really well, and I want to make a point of talking about What If Season 2. Like, What If Season 2 is not only reviewing really well, but it's also, like, there's a lot of hype around it, and it is animated. Like, any of these animated properties that review well and that get viewers will lead to more animated programming. And yet again, I'm not trying to plug this shit, and I'm not trying to tell you to watch something you don't want to watch. But if it's good, and you're sitting around trying to figure out, what am I going to watch tonight? What am I going to sit around and watch? I got this girl over. What do I want to show her? Show her What If. Or I've got this boy over, Or whoever you got over, Mac. Whoever you got over. Before you get to business, maybe show her some Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that reminds me of a story, but I don't know if I could. It's a relatively clean story depending on how I tell it. But anyway, no, it's funny because, like, my wife, when we met, this is 100% true. When we met, our first date was going to see Transformers, Transformers 2007. That in 2007, our first date, I took her to see Transformers 2007, and so took her out to eat first. Then we went to Transformers 2007, and then I was taking her home, and it was just like, and immediately it was like, "Hey, you want to come upstairs?" And I'm like, "Oh, yes." Like, I'm telling you, man, sometimes this nerdy shit can just win some good shit. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, see, it's relatively clean depending on how you tell that story. But yeah, I mean, if you watch it, they'll make more of it. It's that simple. That's why we're not getting any more holiday specials. That's why we're not getting any more Werewolf by Night. Nobody watched it. And I'm going to be this type of person because I love this stuff. Like, I loved Werewolf by Night, and it didn't, nobody watched it, and I blame all of you. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. But I really am like, shit, man. You got to watch it. But I mean, not if it's shit, but if it's good, watch it. Let's see. But yeah, we'll get a resurgence if we watch it. Like I'm telling you, X-Men 97, the second we have an exact premiere date, I'm going to be broadcasting that every fucking place. Let's see. And then Mike Lightning says, and watching all the DVDs of the 90s Spider-Man series, the few I had, still have today, right on, and the 2 or 3 cassettes of Unlimited, man, how I loved watching them. Oh, man, I tell you what, when I was a kid, I had Spider-Man VHSs. I wore them out. We had the VHS of the Daredevil episodes, and I wore them out so fucking much. My mom had to buy those 3 times. 3 times because I fucking wore them out. That's how much I watched that shit because I was like, Daredevil. I was so excited about Daredevil as a kid. I was like, he's so cool, and I was like, I gotta watch it. And like, I had VHS got bought 3 times, man. Okay, Ronnie says, do you know anything about Eyes of Wakanda? Just that it's going to be sort of loosely anthology. Each episode is going to deal with a Wakandan special operations group recovering dangerous vibranium weapons from sometimes iconic. Again, I'll be frank here. The translation that I did is really iffy. I mean, sometimes like known characters and then all new enemies. So that's it. That's all I've got. Mike says, oh, and for the record, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes is my favorite T'Challa and my favorite Black Panther designs, the number 1 and caped version. Oh, I'm right there with you. Also, cape all the way. Black Panther always always should have a cape. It's ridiculous that he doesn't have a cape in the movies. Black Panther has a cape, motherfucker. And Mike says, and I love that version of Wasp and Hank, which again, Dr. Henry Pym, I call him Henry, because again, the first comics I read, he was being called Henry, and I could prove it. But yeah, I love Henry and Janet in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. They did them so well. TJ says, did you ask your wife who her favorite Avenger was first? Honestly, I actually didn't have to, because we met through a job that I was doing. And I was so I was doing some consultation. We were doing we met through that, um, and so we kind of she was actively playing World of Warcraft, and it got out during my internship that, oh, hey, this guy, there's this new guy, he's playing World of Warcraft, have you met him? And she was seeing someone, and when I met her, I took an immediately liking to her, and I pretty much made it my, immediately said like, oh, I'm I'm going to I'm going to marry her, because we had talked about superheroes. I knew she was a loose fan, but she hadn't really seen Star Wars. She hadn't really played Halo, and she did play WoW. And I was like, oh, I'm going to marry her. Give me a week. And in a week, she had ended her previous relationship. I'm sorry, I have a phone call. Hello. Hey, what's up? Oh, oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I guess this is it.
Daddy. Daddy. Daddy.
Okay. Looks like this is the start of my vacation time. Um, uh, thank you all so much. I'm sorry to end this so prematurely. Ah, that's what she said. But my vacation is now starting. So thank all of you so much. I hope I got caught up with everything. Oh, I can quickly answer these. Mike says, what job would suit MJ? We were talking about that, professor. And then Mike says, man, I remember hating Wolverine in that episode where Pete went to Chuck for him to take his man spider curse away. Oh, yes. And then TJ says, so I assume Kang Dynasty is not happening. Not the Kang Dynasty that, no, not the Kang Dynasty that was planned. It's not happening, but we'll have a lot more to talk about when I get back. Casual Gamer says, hope you have a wonderful holiday. Have fun. Bye. Thank you all so much. I wish all of you, whatever holiday you're celebrating, whatever you're doing with your time, again, spend it with your families. Make good memories. Make good memories with everyone, with absolutely everyone you meet. Have a great time. Spread love. Spread cheer. Stay safe. I look really forward to connecting with all of you in the new year and having a lot more to talk about. And again, above all else and most importantly, stay safe. Absolutely take care of others. Have a marvelous day. I'll see you in the Discord. I'll see you on the other side. And again, thank all of you so much for making this such a wonderful end of the year since we've come back. Thank you to all of you who have come in, who I've just met, Mike, all of you, TJ. It's great to have met all of you. You've made this last half of the year on YouTube amazing. Thank you all for joining in and dropping in. And again, whatever you celebrate it safely, celebrate with the people you love, and spread